supporting you in your dog parenting journey. The Dynamic Dog Owner with Debbie Potter.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Dynamic Dog Owner, the podcast designed to support you, the dog parent, in your dog parenting journey. So we talk about all of the things that you will come across as a dog parent, not the actual training, the to-dos of how to. We have that on our online portal, the Pawcademy. Check out the link in the description. But today here we talk about the sort of the human end of the lead, our feelings, thoughts, emotions, the things that hold us back, the considerations we have to make as a dog parent to help us on our journey. So today we're going to talk about judgment, which we've talked about on the podcast before. However, I want to talk about it a bit more because it is such an important topic. And it's one that really winds me up a little bit because in the world, it seems to be that we are very, very hot to judge people, especially without knowing any of their story. And that really gets my goat. Now, this week, it's inspired by yet another comment we receive online. We know who they come from, so it's no surprise. I don't take it to heart. I just laugh and move on, quite simply. But it develops quite a thick skin you have to develop quite a thick skin to not care what other people think about you. So let me talk about it. So I had a comment on one of our posts the other week that basically said, your dogs are reactive, so you know nothing. You create issues and problems. What would you know about it? And I kind of look at that and go, who are you? People commenting online do so, or messages, email, however we communicate, and not face to face. They're hiding. They're hiding behind something. Keyboard warriors, we've heard them all before. They're not brave enough to say things they say online to your face. And I wonder why that is in this modern age. But anyway, so my point is this comment, it's designed to hurt me. It's designed to make me feel bad. It's designed to make me feel inadequate. Now, calling someone out because their dog is reactive and therefore saying to them, you're crap. What's that about? Firstly, this person, I've never met them. I don't know who they are. Never come across them. They've never met me. They've never been to a training class of ours. They've never met my dogs. They don't know anything about me other than hearsay of what another person who doesn't like me has told them. So they are assuming the information they've been given is correct. Now, firstly, don't assume, and this is where there is so much misinformation out and about in the world. So much misinformation. It comes from other people's points of view. She said, he said. You've got information online. Anyone can post anything online, and people believe it because it's a source online. How many times have you seen a hack or try this, and it will work, and then it doesn't? Or people give you information and it's wrong. We've all seen it. We know now with AI, there is so much out there that you go, is that real or is that fake? And you have to actually look, because AI has created videos. They are very, very, very realistic. And you go, oh, hang on a minute. And it takes a second sometimes for your brain to go, I don't think that's true. I think that's made up. So we see it all the time. We know in the dog training world, you don't have to have qualifications to be a dog trainer. You don't have to pass a test, like a standardized test. Obviously, people do complete courses. I complete courses. We don't have to, though. It's personal choice and personal preference because it's not a regulated industry. So anyone can call themselves a dog trainer. Now, equally, anyone is free to share their opinion about something. But don't assume that opinion is correct, because you don't know. You don't know that information is correct. You take on what you've heard and you use that information. Just think about information. But anyway, that's beyond the point, because I'm a big girl, I can take it. It doesn't offend me. I don't take it to heart. I can move on. It's taken me a while to get to that point, over 10 years of running my own business, but anyone who's out to be mean to me, they're clearly not my people. They don't need to be here. But the point of the sort of thing is that the comment was designed to shame, to make me feel bad, because apparently having a reactive dog is a negative. Now, hold on a second. How many of you are listening and you have a reactive dog? Hands up, probably quite a few of you, because reactivity is normal. We don't have robotic dogs. Reactivity is having emotions. Every living being has emotions. Sometimes they're of a more complex level. For example, humans, we like to think we're a bit more complex than everybody else. Dogs have emotions. They're limited. They're not as in depth as ours, but they still have thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Reactivity is just having a big emotion to something. Now, if my dog is reactive, in my opinion, it's because I have allowed them to feel. I have allowed them to express. I have allowed them to communicate. I have not shut that down. And to me, that is very, very, very valuable. Reactivity is better if a dog says to you, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Much better than holding it in, and then all of a sudden exploding in a negative way. So I like reactivity. It's not a bad thing in itself. The bad thing about reactivity is people. Judgment of people judging what we think, making it out that your dog is bad because they're reactive. No, they're not. There's nothing wrong with having a reactive dog. And I think in this day and age, for people to use that as an insult is just not on, quite simply, because it doesn't help. What does it do? What does it achieve? So because I have a reactive dog, it's only because I talk about it, but again, my interpretation of reactivity may be very, very different to your interpretation of reactivity or another person's interpretation. We've talked about it before on the podcast. Reactivity is not aggression. It is not a bad thing. It is dogs communicating just in a socially unacceptable way. Who's created the social society standard? Humans. Because we want a dog that is quiet, well behaved, we can take anywhere, and easy peasy. We don't want them to make a scene. We don't want them to talk. We don't want them to have emotions, because that's not good enough. But our dogs need to feel. So in this day and age, as I say, we're all about, if you look anywhere online, on social media, wherever, we're all on about emotions, mental health awareness, advocacy awareness. We're a whole trend, and it should be, because it's a good thing, is that we should listen to people, we should respect people, we should be kind, we should consider their emotions, we should be aware of mental health. All about supporting people in who they are. So if that's what people are all about, why is a dog having an emotion seen as a negative, seen as a bad thing? My dog has emotions. Oh no. We wouldn't say that about a person. How dare you have emotions? How dare you have thoughts and feelings? So reactivity, don't let anyone tell you that reactivity is a bad thing. You've got a bad dog because your dog's reactive. You aren't a good dog owner because your dog's reactive. You are rude, or whatever it is. You haven't done enough. You haven't worked enough. My experience, if you have a reactive dog, and that is such a broad term, reactivity. Every dog is reactive because they have an emotion to something. Think about when your dog has an emotion. Someone walks through the door, they get excited. Wow, it's an emotional response. Is it excited, like overexcitement? Yes. Wow, they're reactive. That doesn't necessarily equate to my dog's going to eat yours, or my dog is going to bark and lunge at you. It's still a reaction. It's just some we see as acceptable and some we see as not. But that doesn't mean you are not doing enough. It's not an insult. to have a reactive dog. It's not something to be shameful of. In my experience, and obviously, I've been doing this for 10 years now, long time, 10 years. I think the last time we counted up, I think it was around 800 puppies, which is crazy. Hundreds of one-to-ones, hundreds of people come through. We see around 120 dogs a week. Of course, some of those are repeat clients, but we're seeing new dogs all the time. All the time. In my experience, anyone who has had a reactive dog, whatever the extreme of it is, whatever the branch of it is, because there's so many different types of reactivity, again, look back on a previous podcast episode, they are 1,000 times more aware of other people than anyone else. They are better dog owners. They've trained harder. They've trained more. They're more aware of their dog. So if anything, having a reactive dog and working with them is something you should be really proud of. Like really proud of, because no offense, obviously, if you've had an easy dog, amazing. My first dog was easy. Did he teach me anything? No. Other than how amazing a dog could be. Again, I've talked about in previous episodes about how no dog will ever be as good as my Leo was. Had him for 12 and a half years, and he didn't do anything naughty in his life, apart from stealing my grass with gingerbread. He was perfect. Did he teach me anything? Probably not. Was I at times, I was 21 when I got him, bear in mind. Was I at times irresponsible? Yeah, probably, because I'd never grown up with, we'd never had a reactive dog. What does that tell you? Is it like, are there more reactive dogs now? Is it because of something we're doing or how we're treating them or what we expect from dogs? That's another topic, another rabbit hole to go down. But we'd had dogs, my family had had dogs, we'd had dogs, we had 3 dogs as a family, none of them were reactive. Leo was perfect. Had I ever learnt about reactivity? No. Was I ever aware of reactivity? No. If I saw a dog barking at me, I'd go, shit, that's an aggressive dog, because I didn't know any better. And this is why I'm so sort of promote the purpose of, you only know what you know at the time, and you can only work with the information you have, and you do the best that you can in that situation with the knowledge you have. Don't ever beat yourself up about shoulda, woulda, couldas, as they call them, because you don't know. And back then, I had no experience. And then my first dog is a reactive dog, but he's what we call a frustrated greeter. Again, I've talked about him loads. He basically just wants to come and say hello to you, and the lead stops him, so he gets a bit pissed off. He is a beautiful, heart of gold, amazing communicator. He just wants to be your best mate. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. But has he taught me stuff about reactivity? Hell yes. Because I know if someone gets too close, if a dog gets too close, he's going to react. Do I worry about it? When he was younger, yeah, because he was bigger, he was stronger, and I wanted to try and obviously, teach him that he didn't need to be like that. As he's got older, it's definitely reduced hugely, and now it's more of just a chatty conversational bark, which is fine, I don't mind. But I had to learn, I had to think. I've worked with so many reactive dogs, like hundreds of reactive dogs, and we work through the reactivity. We are conscious of how other people, even if they have, usually people are oblivious, that their input, them walking past us, can cause reactivity. It's a trigger. Having someone, if you're working with a reactive dog and you're working desperately to help them, and someone walks into your space, sees a dog kicking off, and carries on walking towards you, is it helpful? Absolutely not. Is it the end of the world? For me, no. None of my dogs are aggressive. They're just reactive. Does it emotionally damage any of them? No, because that's not their reactivity. Another dog, a dog coming into their space could set back their training for 6 months. So it's really, case dependent, but it can be really serious. I never will moan at somebody in real world for doing that, because they don't know. They've clearly never had a reactive dog or never experienced training a reactive dog, and never, been open to the information that I give to my clients. Is that their fault? Absolutely not. Now, I know of other trainers who'd shout at them, have a go at them, don't be so rude. No. Excuse me, would you mind ever so much just giving us a little bit of extra space, because this dog's a little bit nervous, and I'd be super grateful if you could just give us a wide berth. Of course, people go, oh yeah, of course, no worries. They're just not aware of it because they've never experienced it. If you've had a reactive dog, even if your current dog isn't reactive, you will automatically look at other dogs. You'll go, oh, that dog doesn't look very comfortable, I'll take a wide berth. I did it yesterday on my walk. I was walking along with Rem. I was about to come out of a driveway, or pathway, someone else was coming along. Their dog clocked eyes with mine. Rem will freeze, but then he'll carry on, like quite instant refocus now, because that's where we got to in our training, because he's a little bit nervous. The other dog was fixated, pulling. And I was like, right, mate, come on, let's just stand behind this bush for a sec. We stood behind the bush, because if I carry on walking, what's going to happen? That dog's on the other side of the road. It's going to get stressed. It's not helping him. It's not helping his owner. We hung back. We stood behind a bush for about 30 seconds. They'd carried on. We came out. Hey presto. Did I have to do it? No. Did I want to? Of course, because why would I knowingly put that dog into a stressful situation? Because I know what's happening in that situation. I can see it. But if you don't, you don't. So if you've got a reactive dog, I guarantee you are more aware and more considerate of other dogs, even without even realising. So, back to the point. We're kind of going off on a tangent. Hey, it wouldn't be my podcast if we didn't. So, judgment. Don't judge people. Don't use someone's dog behaviour, dog actions as an insult, because you never know why. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. You never know if that person or that dog have actually just had like a massive traumatic event, and it's just they're having a blip. Don't blame people. You know, I would say, I've said on the podcast before, I feel so guilty about Fred. Yes, he's a little bit reactive, not like majorly. Again, he's just noisy. He's a noisy dog in general. And generally, he wants to come and say hello, but then he gets a little bit unsure. I blame myself because I know that when he was a puppy, there was family circumstances out of my control. I couldn't give him what he needed. And I go, if only I'd have had a bit more time during his adolescence when life wasn't quite as shit, I could have probably given him more. I can't go back and change that. Do I beat myself up about it? Yes, of course. But in that moment, you know, yes, I could be out for a walk with him, having, you know, a bit of solitude, a bit of like me time trying. If someone comes over and has a go at me, how does that make me feel? You don't know what's going on in my life. You don't know that that person who's had a reactive dog, they've only had that dog a week and it was in a shelter or it was being abused. You don't know. So don't judge someone on their dog's behaviour. Don't use it as an insult. It is not an insult to have a reactive dog. And we absolutely, in this day and age, need to be kind. You know, where did that go? COVID times, all it was be nice, be kind to everyone. Like we blinked and forgot all of that. Don't judge someone. Don't purposefully try and judge somebody just on their dog's behaviour, because it's not fair and it's not on. As I said, this doesn't bother me. I'm quite okay with people. I know who makes them. I know where it comes from. Not an issue. I don't mind having negative comments. Keep them coming. If anything, it gives me a bit of good entertainment. But from the other point of view, don't listen. If you see weird comments, if you see people judging others, just think, is that the kind of person that I want to be around? You know, trainers in particular, this is like trainer wars. It's horrible. It's horrible out there. It's terrible. I've never known it in any other industry like we have it. You know, other industries work alongside each other. The dog training industry, people are vile. I keep my head down. Not interested. Don't want to get into drama. I do me, you do you, we're all good. But if you hear another trainer talking about another trainer in a negative way, don't always believe it, because you don't know where the source of information is coming from, whether it's true, whether it's accurate. Sometimes I'll ask people, they'll say, oh yeah, I've worked with someone. So I'm like, out of curiosity, you don't have to tell me, who are you? Who have you worked with? Purely because then it gives me information. Go, oh, okay, our methods are the same. You know, sometimes people come to you, oh, well, this didn't work. So I'm like, okay, who were you working with? Not because I want to moan about that person or insult them or criticize what they do, because I go, okay, our methods are different, or our methods are actually probably really similar, might have a few tweaks, we might just make slightly different, but it's for transparency. I would never then go, oh, they're terrible, don't go with them, because everyone is right for somebody. And it's about finding your tribe. As we know in the podcast, we talk about community all the time. It's about finding your community, finding the people who align with you. And just because someone doesn't align with you doesn't give you reason to insult them or to be mean to them or, give insults, assume information, la-di-da. So the main focus on today is sparked by a comment online because it really pissed me off, because I'm like, don't spread shit about me that's not true, quite simply. But don't judge others on their dog's behaviour. It's not on. And you never know how much work they've put in. You don't know where they were and where they are, the journey that they've been on. Don't assume information. Don't assume that the information you're given is correct. Don't assume the stuff you see online is correct. Don't assume you know someone's situation. Don't assume a dog is aggressive when you see them reacting. Think about what else might be going on. And more importantly, we should be supporting each other, helping each other out, supporting other dog owners, whether their dogs are reactive, whether their dogs aren't reactive, whoever, whether it's a new puppy owner, they're doing their best, they're trying, support each other, help each other, be kind. It's not too much for us for in this world, is it? So take that with you when you're out and about. Whenever you see someone and you look at them and go, oh, think, don't judge, do what I do best. They're doing what they can do. There was no malice, there was no intention. I don't know what's going on in their world. Try not to judge. Offer help, offer guidance, offer support, but don't judge people. As always, hope you've enjoyed the episode. Little mini rant from me, but hopefully it's useful, because I think it is really useful. We shouldn't judge people. We shouldn't use reactivity as an insult. Have a wicked week, and I'll see you next week.
If you love listening to the podcast, why not check out the Pawcademy for practical dog training advice and how-to videos. The hub is broken down into sections, and hundreds of pre-recorded videos are there for you to start watching whenever you choose. You can watch them back as many times as you like. You also get to talk to other community members and discuss your training, and benefit from live Q&As with myself where you can get your questions answered. Why not make use of our 3-day free trial where you can access all of the content on the hub absolutely free for 3 days. The link is in the description below, so do check that out. And I can't wait to see you in the hub. Thank you for listening to The Dynamic Dog Owner with me, Debbie Potter. See you next time.